Hey everybody, welcome back to another In Space with Markiplier theory, and consider this one a part 2 to this theory right here. Today we're going to be looking more at the little tinier details of this video. And I know how I keep on talking about how I'm saving the in-credit scene for In Space with Markiplier part 2, the one with Darkiplier taking the blue crystal. I know I keep on saying I'm saving that for the next theory, and then the next theory, and then the next theory. But I swear the next theory that I do after this one will be all about Darkiplier, because there's still a couple other details and stuff that you might have missed in Space with Markiplier Part 2 that I haven't talked about yet that I want to mention. And I don't know about y'all, but the first couple of Easter eggs that I noticed whenever I first watched In Space with Markiplier Part 2 are the words on the coffee mugs. So anytime a character is holding a coffee mug in the video, it has like different words on it that like say different things that are specific to that character. The best example is right here when future Markiplier has a coffee mug that says, "I destroyed the universe and all I got was this stupid mug." Now, you can see it better in like other angles and other shots during the video or while he's talking to you, but pretty much that's what it says. And this goes on for just about any coffee mug that you see throughout this video. Like you see in this clip right here, Markiplier hands you a coffee mug that says "Number 1 Captain," plus he has a coffee mug that says "Wakey Wakey Protocol." I think that it's just, the coffee mugs are just such a cool attention to detail that I just think are pretty fun to kind of see what they say anytime they show up on screen. So yeah, moving on to our next Easter egg, which happens during the Stan the Waterman scene. So as you can see right here, he's trying to pick out a story for y'all to read to help you go back to sleep because you're like a kid right now. And the books that he pulls out have the same thumbnails as videos that are canon to the Markiplier lore. So first he gets out the Who Killed Markiplier thumbnail, then he gets out A Date with Markiplier, then Wilfred Motherloving Wharfstash, then Damien, then Markiplier TV. Right here is finally when he gets the horror or romance books. And in one of my past theories, when we saw like a little glitchy part of what's happening right here on the screen, we thought, oh, could this be a reference to how in A Date with Markiplier you choose horror or romance, and whenever you choose horror, you get to see Darkiplier? Could this be a reference? And like when you choose horror, you actually get to see Darkiplier in this one again. And I said either that could happen, or Markiplier would know that we'd be expecting that, and he'd do a 180, and he'd make neither of them have Darkiplier. And unfortunately, Markiplier decided to trick us. But it's okay, since we get to see Darkiplier later on in an in-credit scene. But now let's talk about a couple of comments that y'all have left on my past theories. So 2 weeks ago, Meist Valen, I'm pretty sure I messed up that name, but anyway, she says, "The dude you were talking about with the captain holding the pin is Dr. Sully H.H. Mills, portrayed by Arison Hanson, which is the narrator that we hear on a Stanley Parable style scene in part 1, and we might be breaking the fourth wall and get to him at some point in the path we will take." Now shout out to this person, because they actually called this, they outright got it absolutely correct. There is a scene where we end up going to like this narrator person's pretty much house or room, and we see him like writing our own story. And I know what you're thinking, oh, this person probably faked it because it says edited up at the very top next to 2 weeks old. I actually can confirm that they did not fake this, because I do remember seeing this comment a good while ago, like back before part 2 released. I remember seeing this comment. I don't think I ever showed it in any of my videos except for now. So shout out to this person, they got it correct. Now moving on. Now going back to MatPat's theory, we have this person who says, "Wait, he said Celine was not the Ice Lady, and Celine also gives up control over Darkiplier to solely Damien." I have so far not seen any sort of proof that Celine got out of Darkiplier's body. I haven't seen any sort of proof that says that or confirms that or hints towards that. So until I actually see proof of that, I still ain't buying MatPat's theory. This next comment is from Ethan Battle. For those of y'all who don't know who Ethan Battle is, he's the person who recommended I made the breakdown video, which was my so far latest Markiplier theory as I'm recording this. He says, I also read a really good theory on Reddit that basically theorized that the old man Mark is just Wolfstache in disguise and somehow ingested the crystal, which is what gives him his reality bending powers. That is definitely a possibility and would be a pretty cool and funny twist if it were to happen. And yeah, there's really not much else to say about this theory right here. Next up we have Okra, the Dragonic Saiyan. Sorry if I messed up the name. But he says, what if future lady got the crystal from future Mark? I mean, it makes sense to why she thinks it's the captain's fault. And future Mark only realized it was himself at the beginning of part 2, meaning Lady got the crystal before part 2 starts, but after the universal collapse. The same mindset as pre-part 2 future Mark with a crystal that future Mark no longer possesses. Otherwise, why would he tell you to stop his past self if he could do it himself? He then goes on to question what would stop future Lady from working with future Mark. She didn't care for past Mark, which is why she still shot him, but she focused on the captain. This probably because the captain was the one with the blue crystal and not Markiplier. But then he goes on to say, I'm not sure anymore. If you take the robot gun path, you will confront the lady, not known if future or present lady, and she says she got the crystal from you, well, another you. But then again, I don't know if it's present or future. This happens a little bit more in the future, and she actually did get the crystal from you, because in a different scene it actually does show how she ends up getting the crystal from you. This comment right here goes back to my thoughts on the game theory video. This comment pretty much just says how MatPat didn't know anything, so therefore his theories weren't biased. And you know, this makes me want to clear up something that I already said in my past theory, but I need to say it again for this person in particular. In the theory where this comment comes from, I say that there's more likely of a chance that he got it wrong on purpose instead of the fact that he got it right on purpose. I'm not saying that he did anything on purpose. I'm just saying if he did do something on purpose, he would most likely want to get it wrong on purpose instead of right. I don't even think that MatPat did anything on purpose, to be honest. I feel like if he did actually know anything about behind the scenes lore or anything like that, he most likely wouldn't have made the video or the theory. I was just saying if he did it on purpose, if he purposely got it wrong or right. Next up we have yet another comment from Lost Kid. Such a good theorist. He's always on top of anything Markiplier. He always can come up with the best theories, the best ways to kind of connect the dots and stuff, to kind of tie back the untied loose threads. So yeah, shout out to him. He pretty much just also got right and confirmed the fact that we'd be seeing the narrator from part 1 return to part 2. So both this person and the other person who also commented something, I'm showing the other comment up on the screen as well. Both of them already got this right, so shout out to the two of them. Now moving on. So for the final comment I'm going to be mentioning in this video, it's another one by Lost Kid. This one says, "Hey Neo, it's me again." So the Wolfstache cameo does in fact take place during Wilfred Motherlovin Wolfstache. In the video, you can see a second Wilfred behind Abe, and then retreat back into the background, where this clip then starts. I actually did see videos of people comparing those two scenes, one from In Space with Markiplier Part 2 and the other from Wilfred Motherloving Wolfstache. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now I feel like the whole parole thing is that Mark experiences his parole at the same time we do. My timeline is who killed Markiplier, Damien plus Wilfred Motherloving Wolfstache, Markiplier TV, In Space, Heist, and Date. I agree with that for the most part. I haven't really been focusing too much on the Markiplier timeline in this video, mainly because I kind of went crazy talking about it last video, or last theory, not the breakdown one, but the one before that. Now, if that's true or not, I'm not sure. We also know that one of the branches of space we already did the heist with Mark and left him in prison, since he does escape with his own warp crystal. Another thing is that we know the chronological end of heist is in number 6, not just because it says the end, but the crystal is maybe destroyed, and Mark asks if you want to go on that date, which leads to date. But the question is, what ending there is canon? For a date with Markiplier, which ending is canon? My guess is in number 1 or in number 10. We know it's not in number 4 or in number 5 because we kill Markiplier or Darkiplier. I think the timeline has just gotten way more complicated because In Space with Markiplier started introducing like different dimensions, different pathways and all that. There's already been different pathways throughout like the heist with Markiplier and a date with Markiplier as well and all that stuff. But like In Space with Markiplier really just confirmed how like anytime you have an option on the end cards of any Markiplier video, you're just like sparking a new dimension or a new branch out in the Markiplier timeline. It's not really a question anymore of what's canon and what's not, but more of a question of which kind of ending or which choice ends up going with which other future and past choices in its own separate little dimension timeline. After making over 10 theory videos about the Markiplier lore, I've come to realize that one of the hardest things to do while watching a Markiplier lore video is trying to decide which scenes are Easter eggs, which scenes are just jokes and are there just to be like funny and one-off jokes, and then which one of them are meant to be lore. It's hard to tell the difference between those three most of the time. But anyways, you can definitely expect future theories coming very soon, especially because as I'm recording this, Markiplier's doing a live stream where he's like going through In Space with Markiplier and giving lore details and all that there and confirming lots of stuff. So you bet I'm gonna be doing another theory about that. Plus we have a theory about Darkiplier and what his end credit scene actually means at the very end of In Space with Markiplier Part 2. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any theories, put them in the comments, and goodbye.